Hey everybody, welcome to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, mixingmadeeasy.net, and here on my YouTube channel. And this week we're going to take a look at another plugin by Nomad Factory, and this time out we're going to take a look at the bus driver, which is a bus compressor. Real simple compressor, easy to use, sounds great. We're going to take a listen to this on maybe the master bus and then maybe on some bass and acoustic guitars to kind of switch it up. But before we get to that, if you like what you see in this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting new video content. Also go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and get your 5 free mixing training courses. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. It's worth about $110. And if you really want to learn the craft of mixing, where we dive down deep and really get better at the craft of mixing, great for beginners and intermediate level mixers and home recording musicians, go over to mixingmadeeasy.net. Check out what I have going on there as well. So now let's jump on into Studio One and let's take a look pardon me, at the bus driver by Nomad Factory. So over the last couple of weeks, I've done a couple other different plugin reviews by Nomad Factory. I'm fairly new to their plugins, and so far the ones that I've reviewed and I've had some videos put up here over the last couple of weeks, I really like. You can go check the description box below. I'll link to those videos as well. This is a simple plugin to use. Again, pardon me. This is the bus driver. It's a vacuum tube compressor limiter. It says a model 1176 LA2A, which will kind of give you an indication of what they were kind of going for. So it's really simple to use. We have on our left-hand side here, we have the tube driver section where we can turn this up, and that's just going to kind of emulate when we're pushing signal into vacuum tubes, such as guitar amplifier type tubes, to give it some of that grit and some of that distortion, because you can use this on guitar buses, bass buses, and such, and we'll listen to that in a minute. And this next to that, we have our gain reduction meter, our in and out meters, and then we can turn the metering off. In the center section, we have a nice, beautiful display here. And then over here on the right-hand side, we have our ratio, 2:1, 4:1, 8:1, or limiting mode. And then we have how much compression we want to have. We can turn it either on some mono track here with this little toggle switch down here to a stereo track, depending on what track you're putting this on. Then we have an input level, and we have an output level where if we're doing some compression, we can turn up some makeup gain. We can also use our input meter to make sure we're driving enough gain into the plugin to begin with. And that's it. Real simple. They got some really great presets here as well. One thing I love about the Nomad Factory plugins thus far is I'm loving their presets. Usually are very musical, sound really good in there. It's a great starting point. And this particular plugin, the bus driver, is no exception. So you can see you can save user presets. We have some for drums and percussion, guitars and basses, pianos and keyboards, vocals as well, and then a mixing and a mastering, which is what we're looking at now, this thing called light compression. Now when you pick the preset, you can see it automatically defaults to kind of a 2:1 ratio, not a lot of compression. And we'll just, and the tube driver is all the way off because it's on the master bus. So this particular session, we're just going to listen to drums, bass, acoustic guitars, and a little bit of keyboards. Not mixed, no plugins at all on the session. The only plugins that we have are the bus driver here on the master bus, and on our bass bus and our acoustic guitar bus, we have the bus driver on as well, but right now they are turned off. Okay, so why don't we just take a quick little listen to this section of music here. Again, it's just a quick static mix. This is on the master bus, and we're going to start with it bypassed here. Just keep your eye at the top left-hand corner of this plugin. When it's amber, it is bypassed. When it is unlit or gray, it's active. Okay, so I'll start the music here, then I'll just kind of turn this on and off, and we'll take a listen to what this does with the preset with no tweaking called light mix compression. So here we go. So hopefully you can hear there if you're listening to this, and you should be on a good set of studio headphones and or studio monitors. You can hear that when we bring in the bus driver here, the bottom end of that, those tom fills and the kick drum gets a little more thicker and the bass gets a little bit more thick as well, and adds a little bit more glue, if you will, to this particular set of instrumentation. Real simple to use. So we can just go ahead and I'll play the music, and I'll start with zero compression, just to kind of turn it all the way up here slowly so you can hear what it kind of does. We're on a 4-to-1 ratio right now. And again, this is going to be very subtle because we don't have any other processing going on throughout the entire mix here. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, so it adds a little bit of glue. It's very subtle on the master bus. Okay, so that's the bus driver on the master bus. Now, if we just bypass this, and let's just isolate a couple of instruments so you can kind of hear it a little bit more clear here. So let's take a listen to our bass here. We'll just take a listen to the bass guitar. Let's mute everything else here for a minute. There we go. Okay, and let's set the bass driver. So the bass driver, I picked the bass preset here. You can go over to guitars and basses. We have bass guitar up front, a bass synth with a sub texture. We can start with that. Let's start with the up front. And you can see it puts it to an 8-to-1 ratio here. And again, no tube driving section. We'll turn that on in a second. You can see how much compression we're using. Now again, it's on a stereo. I'm using this on a bus, on the stereo bus. So we want to make sure that the plugin set to stereo mode. It's no compression. I can bring in some tube saturation. Let's see what that does. Very subtle. You can hear it just break up just a tiny, tiny bit. I almost wish it gave you a little bit more bite, but it's not bad. Hear it? Just a little bit. Let's bypass it. Let's level match the plugin a little bit. It's before. After. Really kind of tightens it up and kind of glues it together. It's nice. It's nice. Now again, the tube driver is very subtle here. I wish it was a little bit more gritty. It's not, but it still has a nice little crispiness. Puts a little bit of hair on that bass there. Let's also now listen to this maybe on some acoustic guitars. Let's mute the bass. Okay, right now we're in bypass mode. So if I come down to the guitar preset, they have a clean up front or a clean guitar dense crunch. Let's just see what the up front sounds like. Before. what happens if you add some tube driver to that. You can hear a little bit more of the upper mid-range with the tube driver kind of engaged there. Again, in this case, because it's so subtle, it's not distorting the guitar. It's not supposed to be a distortion. It's supposed to be when you drive the signal into, like, let's say the tube section of a guitar amplifier. Okay. So now let's bring the bass and the acoustic guitar in together, maybe along with the drums, even though the drums don't have this particular plugin on it. And let's just see in context what those three instruments sound like. Okay, so I'm right now I'm turning on and off the bus driver on both only the bass track and the acoustic guitar track just by highlighting the two inserts here, clicking the power button on and off. You can hear what the difference it really makes. So again, I'll start at the beginning of the loop here. We'll start with it off and then I'll bring it in, take it off, and then you can hear what the cumulative effect of the bus driver is just on the bass guitar and the acoustic guitar track. Again, the drums don't have this particular plugin on it, although, you know what, we could probably put that on there as well. Why don't we do that quickly while we're here? I'll shut off this other drums tools plugin that we were using, and I'll drag this one over here on the drums, and let's see what we're doing on the drums here. So let's get a drum preset happening. So let's see, do we have something with a drum bus 1? Let's try that and see what we got. Okay, we have some tube driver happening. Again, 8-to-1 limiting. We're going to go down to a 4-to-1. Let's just remove the drum other plugin. Okay, now that we have it on the drums, the bass, and the guitars, I'll take them all away at the same time. Now, you notice that I removed the drum tools plugin by Nomad Factory on the drum bus here, and now the drums got really much more of a raw feel. They're not processed at all now. So the only plugins we're using on the entire 3 sets of instruments is just the bus driver. Before, after. And there you go, real simple plugin to use. Now, again, this would be great if you, as you're doing an entire mix and going ahead and processing all your tracks as you normally would, and you're dropping this on the buses, it's going to even glue things together even further. But I like to do these kind of plugin demos with no plugins on anywhere on any of the tracks, with a completely raw static mix, because then you can audibly hear the differences and how it comes across over the video and over YouTube. So that is the bus driver by Nomad Factory. Again, really, really, really cool. I'll link it down below so you can go check it out and I'll maybe demo it. But it gives a nice subtle compression with a little bit of tube saturation there that can really give us a little bit more flavor and a little bit more of a unique tonal aspect to your tracks, whether it's on a bus or on individual tracks. And again, the presets are really cool. You can go through and you can put these on individual tracks. You can put them on buses. They really, really work. really, really well. And I think you ought to check out the bus drivers. So again, for more videos like these, make sure you hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And once again, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, get your 5 free mixing training courses, head on over to mixingmadeeasy.net and jump in and really learn the craft of mixing, where we dive down deep into these types of plugins and you get to see mixes done from start to finish in real time, where we really get a chance to experiment with different types of plugins by Nomad Factory and other manufacturers, so you can see where you can use them in real world applications. And you also get the audio files so you can mix the song along with me in real time to start to finish. Mixingmadeeasy.net. Check it out today. Links in the description box below. And until the next video, I've been Dave with Home Recording Made Easy and mixingmadeeasy.net, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Take care.